Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to the channel. In this video, we're going to be taking a look at a DIY PC ID-X1, a case that was released by DIY PC pretty recently for around 50 bucks.
Alright, taking a look around the exterior of the case. On the front you do have that like RGB screen panel type thing, and then to the right you do have just that metal piece that blocks us from the airflow, but this wouldn't be a DIY PC case without that. On the top for I/O you get your power button, hard drive, and power LEDs. LED switch for the front panel and rear fan, 2 USB 2s, headphone, microphone, and 2 USB 3 ports. On the top you do have mounts for 2 120 or 140 millimeter fans, and these are covered with magnetic metal mesh. On the side of the case you do have just your tempered glass panel that covers the whole side of the case. And then on the back you do have a single 120 millimeter fan mount that the included 120 millimeter fan is pre-installed in. Looking around the back for cable management, there is plenty of room, and there's about an inch between the back of the motherboard tray and the side panel. Although you do have plenty of room, the cable tie-down points aren't positioned the best. There's just kind of like in the middle of the case over there, there's really no good place to tie cables down to. You do, however, get plenty of room for the power supply. This is a short, only 120 millimeter long unit from EVGA, but a full-length power supply would fit in here very easily. And for drive mounting, for the 3.5-inch hard drives, you get this this hard drive cage that does remove. It is toolless, but you do need a standard Phillips head screwdriver to actually install the drives into the cage. The cage you just pull it forward and then it pops right out. And on the hard drive cage there is mounting for 2 3.5-inch hard drives. With the hard drive cage out, you can mount a 120 or 140 millimeter fan here, although that isn't officially supported by DIY PC. Reinstalling the hard drive cage is again very easy. You just kind of push it into place and then it clicks in. Looking at the controller for the included RGB, it is powered with a single SATA connector, and the included RGB on the front panel and rear fan uses a 3-pin addressable RGB connector, along with the rear fan needing a 3-pin fan connector. With the things that ship included, you do still have 2 open RGB connectors and 3 open fan connectors. You do need to plug the reset switch into the controller board if you want to control the RGB with the reset switch. And then if you want to control the RGB with the motherboard, it includes this cable that has I believe that's just a proprietary 4-pin connector for what plugs into the RGB hub, and then you get a 3 volts. And then you get a 3-pin addressable RGB connector that plugs into the motherboard. You do also get a GDV connector. Not exactly sure what this is for. I've never had to use one in any of my builds. Just looking a bit more at airflow and taking the front panel off, it does come off pretty easy with just the standard plastic clips you see on most cases in this price point. And then to get to and then looking at how the RGB effect is done, you can see there is just a LED strip kind of on the side of the front panel that is diffused off the white dust filter on the front of the case. To get access to the fan mount, you have to remove the dust filter with 2 screws. And then it's just magnetically attached and pulls right off. You do then get access to your triple 120, or I think in this case it's a dual 140 millimeter fan mounts. I don't have any 140 millimeter fans right now, so I can't test, and I couldn't find anywhere in their advertising what it claimed it supports. And then on the bottom, you do just have this mesh filter that covers the whole bottom that goes over the power supply and hard drives. You do also just have the standard plastic feet that lift the case up about 3/4 of an inch. And then just lastly, looking at the interior of the case, you just have a flat motherboard backplate with nothing really on it, and the only thing that mounts here is the motherboard. The 24 pin for the motherboard ATX power cannot go like behind the motherboard like it normally does, and has to go out of that hole in the motherboard backplate, which makes it kind of have to run a pretty long ways inside of the case. There is enough area there to route like SATA cords and fan cables, but you just can't fit the 24 pin through. For GPU power, there's plenty of places to route it through. You do just have the opening on the side and then plenty of openings along the bottom of the case. The bottom of the case, I do wish they would have put like a mesh over that, because I don't love being able to see into the like power supply basement. The PCI Express brackets are attached with screws, which is a lot nicer than the breakout connectors that you usually see at this price point. The cutout for the power supply is a good amount too long for this power supply, and it's even a bit too long for my EVGA 650N1. So for most power supplies, you will have a bit of a gap that you can see into like the kind of mess of cables that is usually down there.
Alright, so I have to say, this case is pretty impressive for the $50 I paid, although the price seems to have gone up to somewhere around $55 to $60 recently. For this price, you're getting great airflow, pretty good build quality, and no really major design flaws. If you buy this case, I would recommend picking up some cheap 120 or 140 mil fans to use as an intake, as with just using the included exhaust fan, which is basically just aesthetic. It doesn't really move much air. The case did get pretty hot. But if you're going to pick up some extra fans for some extra intake and exhaust, this case has some great airflow at the price with some pretty great RGB. Anyways, if you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.